Hello everybody, Michael here for Tactica Imperialis with episode 3 of Grey Knight's Codex analysis. Today we're going to be talking troops. I would normally put transports in this video, but they've all been moved to fast attack and it would just be a pain in the butt to maneuver around the fast attack states looking for transports. So today we're going to talk troops. There's only 2 units, so it's going to be quite a quick episode just as a filler, but you'll also get a last look at the remainder of the war gear list and yeah, that's basically it. If you've missed any of the previous 2 episodes, make sure to click the link in the description below. That will take you to see episodes 1 and 2. Episode 1 will give you army special rules, warlord traits, relics, all those sorts of funky things you need to know. And in episode 2, we looked at the HQ section, which also covered 99% of the war gear list. We're going to go over most of them again in this episode, don't worry. So, the first troop choice available to Grey Knights is the Strike Squad. This is the equivalent of a tactical squad, only it's not. It is 110 points, and for that, you get 4 guys and a Justicar, who is basically a sergeant. They are weapon skill 4, ballistic skill 4, strength toughness 4 with 1 wound, initiative 4, 1 attack, leadership 8, and a 3+ save. The Justicar has an extra attack and an extra point of leadership, so basically he's a veteran sergeant. This means that it's basically 20 points a guy, and then 10 points for the sergeant. So they have power armor, a storm bolter, nemesis force sword, frag crack, and psych out grenades. Storm Bolter is obviously a vast improvement on a bolt gun. The Nemesis Force Sword is a power sword with Force and Demon Bane, meaning that if you put Force on, you reroll to wound and armor penetrate against demons. And Psych Out grenades don't do that much. They're a straight 2 grenade, but if they hit anything that's a Psyker, Brotherhood of Psychers or Psychic Pilot, one of the models in the unit who is a Psyker will take an immediate perils of the warp, and they also stop charging Psychers, gain an additional attack. They have the Aegis, so they get rerolls of 1 to deny the witch. They shall know no fear. They are a Brotherhood of Psychers level 1 with combat squads if you get them up to full size, deep strike, preferred enemy demons, and purity of spirit, allowing them to cast Santic without having the super doubles problem. They know banishment and hammer hand. That is the Primaris power in banishment, and hammer hand gives them +2 strength. These are pretty good. Hammer hand will be pretty useful if you're going up against anything big. I like how they've done powers actually this time round. Grey Knights used to have assigned powers to units, but they were not powers you could get on other guys. Now they're all using Santec, but they all use assigned powers from Santec, and I quite like that. It's a nice touch. So, for options, you may take an additional 5 Grey Knights. For 20 points of dude, meaning a full-size squad will set you back 210 points, which is a lot for 10 guys. That said, they're as survivable as 10 tactical marines, but they shoot with like Terminators, and they all have force weapons, which are power weapons. So you get what you pay for with these guys. In fact, you get far more than what you pay for, considering the fact that a power weapon in most codexes often sets you back at least 10 or 15 points. This is insane value. For every 5 in the unit, 1 may take a special weapon. This is the one section of the war gear list we have not yet covered. And you get an Incinerator for 5 points, which is a strength 6 heavy flamer, so template strength 6 heavy 4, but it also has Soul Blaze. We have the Silencer for 10 points, which is 6 shots rending, but AP nothing. And the Psy Cannon, which is freaking insane. Yeah, you believe it was 36 inch range, strength 7, AP 4, salvo 2, 4, possibly even with rending. Let me just check. Yeah, 24 inch range, sorry, salvo 2, 4. Strength 74, rending, and silencer, heavy 6, but it has force. That's the thing with silencers. If you can cast force, you do get instant death on them. Is it worth it? I'm not sure. I think often the best weapon, of course, is the side cannon, but you pay through the nose for it. A silencer will do you amazing against light armies, because against orcs, you're wounding on 4s with instant death, so against things like orc knobs, it's devastating. I mean, seriously, this thing is devastating. And even against things like tactical marines, there's no downside to it compared to a storm bolter. The only place where there's a downside is against 1 wound things like orc boys, termagants, and guardsmen. Pretty good. The Incinerator, I think, will just be a general choice. Because they have deep strike, it's actually a bit more viable than you might have imagined. Excuse me. Any Grey Knight may take items from the melee weapons list. These we've covered already. You can have a pair of Nemesis Force Falcons, which is basically exactly the same as a Full Sword, except you have 2 of them. So you get +1 attack, and that costs you 4 points. You can take a Nemesis Force Halberd, which is 2-handed, with +1 strength, and that will set you back 2 points. You can take a Demon Hammer, which is basically a Thunder Hammer with Demon Bane and Force, for I think it's 10 points. And you can have the Nemesis Warding Stave, which gives you Adamantium Will and basically a Force Maul, which is like a Power Maul basically. It's strength +2, AP4, concussive, but it has Force as well, and that's for 5 points. But the main reason you take that is to give your unit Adamantium Will. That's just why I would recommend at least one guy generally carries a Warding Stave against anything that vaguely looks like an Eldar, except Dark Eldar, of course. It will just protect you from all the Eldar shenanigans, although there aren't many shooting shenanigans in Eldar Psychic. The Justicar may also take these melee weapons. Generally, I would kit my Justicar out with a Demon Hammer, just for maximum face wreckage. And he may also take special issue options. You have digital weapons. You may make a one weapon Master Crafter, which is really nice on Demon Hammers, by the way. You may take Melter Bombs, and I cannot remember what the fifth or what the other option was. So I'm just going to quickly remind myself. A Teleport Homer for 10 points. Pretty good Teleport Homers. Often works well in concert with Rhinos, where you can bomb up the board in a Rhino, go flat out, and then hopefully a Teleport Homer works. I'm not sure if a Teleport Homer does work while you're embarked in a vehicle though, so maybe you should use them as part of the Nemesis Strike Force detachment where they can come in on 3s on turn 1. Get them in, hope they live, and then everything around them when they arrive on turn 2, kind of more useful. Just an option. But I don't think Teleport Homers are probably the thing you need the most. They may take a Rhino if you have 10 or more guys, up to 10 guys you can fit in a Rhino, or a Razorback, which we'll cover in the next episode, in 2 episodes' time, because for some reason they put them in the fast attack section now, allowing you to take them without units. But dedicated transport is still the best way to take them. I think a Rhino will generally be fine. A Razorback will be helpful if you're running lots of MSU, because it gives you the fire support you would generally be lacking. Then we have the Terminator squad. Yes, Terminators in troops. Only Grey Knights get this, and they're 165 points. For that, you get 4 guys and a Justicar. Their stats are the same. Weapon skill, ballistic skill, strength and toughness 4, 1 wound, initiative 4, 2 attack, leadership 9, 2+ save, and 5+ invuln because they have Terminator armor. You also cannot sweeping advance, and I think you also get relentless. You have a Stormbolter, Nemesis Force Sword, Frag Crack, and Psych Out Grenades, just like the Strike Squad. Have the Aegis, They Shall Know No Fear, Brotherhood of Psychers level 1, Combat Squads, because you can take Terminators up to 10, Preferred Enemy Demons, and Purity of Spirit. Preferred Enemy Demons, you might be thinking, well, I don't face demons in my meta, I don't need that. There are some demons everywhere else, but they're very, very few and far between. Plus, Demonic Allies, it's possible. Grey Knight Terminator squads, no Banishment and Hammerhand, just like Strike squads, meaning that if they go into melee with Hammerhand on, they're striking at strength 6. That's really, really good. Particularly if you can get Force off as well. Strength 6 instant death, rip everything. Like, okay, Space Marine Captain, you're dead on 2s. Orc War Boss, you're dead on 3s. Just what? And anything with Feel No Pain can forget it, because it just doesn't get it against it. You may take 5 additional Terminators for 33 points modeling. A full-size squad will set you back 330 points, which I know it's a lot, but it's not bad, considering you have power weapons, force power weapons, bonus grenades, better armor because of the Aegis, preferred enemy, purity of spirit to buff your Santic casting rolls, but you lose access to Malefic, but nobody cares, and all you guys are Psychers. Why would you complain? For every 5, you may take a Terminator special weapon. These are the same weapons as the Strike Squad, but they're more expensive. So you can take an Incinerator for 10, a Silencer for 10, a Side Cannon for... I missed that. Okay, sorry. Rewind to Strike Squads. When they replace the Stormbolter with a heavy weapon, it takes their melee weapon with it, so you lose the force weapon as well. Didn't realise that. Bear that in mind. Anyway, sorry. Terminator may replace its Stormbolter with Incinerator for 10, Silencer for 15, Side Cannon for 20. Considering the power of the Side Cannon being basically an assault cannon on steroids, you really will want that. In big squads, you may as well go whole ham on it and take a Side Cannon. But if you're going to use Deep Strike, you have Terminator armor. Incinerators will do great for just clearing out a hole. If you're running Nemesis Strike Balls, you can also run when you get there, meaning that you're more likely to get it into the right place, which is pretty handy. Any Grey Knight may take melee weapons, same as with the Strike Squad. You have the extra attack already, so Falchions maybe not as necessary as you might think. Generally, I would go with Halberds, or I would go with at least one more Warding Stave, because again, you really don't want to get killed by something like a Molten Beam to the face, just beaming through all your guys. It's less bad on Strike Squads, it's terrible on Terminators. So you want a Warding Stave. Justicar may take melee weapons and special issue war gear. Again, you want a Demon Hammer. I would master craft it if you really can. Digital weapons is also an option if you want that reroll to wound. And you may take a Land Raider Crusader, or Land Raider Redeemer as a dedicated transport. These are all in the heavy support section, which is going to be the second to last episode in this series. It will be episode 6. So we're a bit of a ways off from the Land Raiders, but they work pretty much exactly the same as all of the Land Raiders do. So if you're really not sure, just look up a Land Raider, and it works pretty exactly the same, just maybe a slightly different points cost. Terminators are probably going to be the mainstay of your army. They're tough, they're flexible, they're just downright useful. The only issue they might have is that you end up running very small armies if you commit to full Terminator. Meaning that while you may not drown in hordes as bad as some armies do, because you have things like Falchions to help clear them out, you can have Incinerators and things like that, there is the risk that you just get swarmed or outmaneuvered, which is a big thing because they're a slow army. Once they arrive, they have the very high risk of getting outmaneuvered. So if you are going to run a whole Terminator army, expect your opponent to try and outmaneuver you and have things ready as a result. Fast attack choices like Storm Ravens and Interceptor squads, which we'll cover in episode 5, will be useful for saving your butt, basically, because a Terminator heavy army will just get run rings around. For that reason, having strike squads is handy. They can camp, they can put out a decent amount of firepower with things like Psy Cannons for relatively cheap cost, and the Terminators then go and do the dirty work. So that is all for today's episode. It's only a quick one, I know. There's only a couple choices in troops. In the next episode, we'll be looking at the elite section. This is where most of the cool stuff is. We have Purifiers, we have Paladins, we have Dreadnoughts, and that's it. Oh, I thought we had more elite choices than that. Never mind, but we have some really cool stuff in the elite section, so I hope you will join me for the next episode. Make sure to leave a like on this series, leave in the comments down below what you think of the section, how you would use it, and suggestions for future content. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Michael for Tactica Imperialis. I just accidentally signed off in the middle of my outro. Sorry about that. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Michael for Tactica Imperialis, and I'll see you all again.